Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. My name is Yewen. Today it cannot be a greater honor for me to stand here to give the speech. I'm a freshman from HNNU University. Seeing this picture, I guess you must know the topic of my presentation today. Yes, that's right, it's about sports. The topic of my presentation is the comparison of America and China in sports. As it's well known to us all that China and America are the two leading countries in sports, the differences are not only lie in the advantages and disadvantages in the sports events, but also in the background of their sports culture. The American sports culture is a typical widely publicized sports culture, while Chinese sports culture is typical Oriental sports culture. Then I will illustrate them from 5 perspectives. Okay. The first is about dominant events. For America, there were 3 persons that I want to talk about. Michael Jordan, also known as Air Jordan, an African-American basketball player in American history, and he's one of the best basketball players in the world. He has making more than $10 billion for his club. Michael Phelps as well, an American swimmer, and is a decorated Olympian of all time with a total of 22 medals. The third person is Lin Shuhao. He is one of the few Asian Americans in NBA history, and the first one of Chinese descent to play in the NBA league. While compared to American, Chinese have a lot of different distinctions that as an Asian country, well, compared to the American, China has its evidential distinction in athlete's physique. Then I will give you 3 examples. The first one is Guo Jingjing. She is the leading member of Chinese national women's diving team, and is also known in the Princess of Diving. And also Lin Dan, he is widely considered being the greatest badminton player of all time. By the age of 28, he had completed the Great Grand Slam, having won all the 9 major titles in the world badminton. The last one is Zhang Yining. She is a Chinese table tennis player, and she is one of the great female table tennis players in the world. And she also is a 2nd consecutive champions in the Olympic Games. These 3 athletes are the typical Asian athletes who are short in stature, which makes the substantial development in some specific sports events which require coordination, like table tennis, badminton, diving, and etc. Then I will say something about the athlete selections and training. Despite of those differences there are also many common in athletes training and selections. As for the athlete selections, China and America athletes are selected from a very early age. And the athletes from both nations must exhibit their immense talent so that he or she can be a member of the sport team. But As for China, the talented students must be selected from a very, very early age. The gymnasts may be selected as early as 4 years old, and the weightlifters may be selected from 7. Well, most students are selected from the villages, and if they got their opportunities to be in a sport team, they must stay in the sport team for a very long time and get their intensive training, which makes them getting training all year long, and this makes the country's development of the traditional predominant events. Well, as for America, a lot of students don't have to be selected from a so early age. They just have to be selected in the middle school or even high school. They get their cultivation in the schools or sports clubs. And they don't have to spend all day long getting their sport training and so on. They put their study in priority so that the sports events in their country get the popularity and the improvement. Well, as the competitive sports improvement, however, with the development of the competitive sports currently, these two modes are not only becoming these two modes. However, with the development of the competitive sports currently, these two modes are becoming more and more integrated. As for Lina, for example, Lina is a Chinese tennis player, and she quit the national team as well as the state transport system in 2008. And from then on, she began her flight solo. Until now, she has won many great titles, including the 9 WTA singles and the one at the 2011 Australian Open, 2011 French Open, and 2014 Australian Open. As for America, America also has its intensive training before the competitions, especially for the big competitions. Let's see the third part. The third part is the sports culture in college campus. For one thing, China and America have both contributed a lot in the college campus sports area. They both invest a lot of money, build a lot of sports facilities, and organize various sports activities. But at the same time, they do have some discrepancies. In America, the sports competitions are frequently held, and the intercollegiate sports competitions are organized very orderly by the National Collegiate Athletic Association. Besides, American colleges also attach great importance to the management and host of the sports competitions. As for China, we also have a lot of sports competitions. Like the school where I am studying, there are many school competitions and games in the common time, but the difference is that we don't have so many intercollegiate sports competitions. The fourth part is about the sports value. The impact of the golden mean, China had become a country full of introverted culture. It involves the sports culture naturally because of its emphasis on the development of inward. It forms a Next part is about the sports value. By the impact of the golden mean, China has become a country full of introverted culture. And also, China, because of its emphasis on its development of inward, it forms a collective identity. Chinese culture pursues that man is an integral part of nature, and body and soul are in harmony, and morality and strength are in harmony. Well, as for America, American culture is based on European culture, and because of the influence of the Renaissance and Enlightenment, it forms its individualism identity and its efficient and mechanism. Okay, next let's see something about the sports spirits. Liu Xiang, he used to be a famous runner, and he participated in the men's 110 meters hurdles World Championship in Daegu with rowboats in August 29, 2011. However, in the ninth hurdle, rowboat's right trailing hand hit Liu's left hand, and Liu's speed was slowed down by the disturbing. Right after the race, I was kind of sulky, Liu admitted, but I decided to let it go because it was just a race. Although he lost to the champion, he's still strong enough to fight back to the peak form after a very serious